Hello guys, welcome to Hericom Media, the home of Kwelu Classics. Your story, our story. In today's program, we give you an update on the Zimbabwe elections. Our topic is Chamisa sends a message to the country's armed forces. As we all know, last weekend, the country's biggest opposition party, the Citizens Coalition for Change, launched its presidential campaign in the Midlands capital of Gweru. We are going to analyze an extract from Chamisa's speech when he addressed the gathering in Gweru. Now, let's take a listen to him.
Ungaita munhu wefuti aiwa futi inoita kuti muende runyararo munyika ari masoja edu matongerwo enyika tinoenda kumakondesi edu masoja anoremekeza zvabuda kubva kupi in any event that aronikati izvi ndezvedenga rwendo rwuno hazvikoni chero akaita sei rwendo rwuno hazvidi.
Now, it is quite evident from the speech that the opposition leader has a message for the men and women in uniform. But what exactly is he saying to them? What message is he giving to them? Now, to help us analyze the speech by Mr. Chamisa, we are joined by Dr. Vincent Chakunda, a political analyst, senior lecturer in the Department of Governance and Public Management at the Midland State University in Gweru.
There are two strands to Chamisa's statement. The first relates to the military, where there are historical perspectives of the involvement of the military in the political processes of the country in general and the elections in particular. And their statements actually attributable, I think, to the late General Vitalis Vinavashe, to the extent that the military won't allow a man without liberation war credentials to be a leader of the country. It was widely circulated on public media, and the statement appeared to represent the general perspective of military, of men and women in uniform. But of late, I don't recall a scenario where the militaries actually issued such a statement. But previously then, I think there was a strong perspective that the opposition, in particular the MDC, is existentially derooted from the liberation war struggle which ushered in Zimbabwe. So to an extent, I think the military then made, to a large extent, of men and women from the liberation struggle, thought that any transfer of power to the opposition would automatically deliver the nation to white capitalism, which they fought during the liberation war struggle. So that perhaps the DNA of that statement. It was particularly relating to the general perception that was given, particularly by ZANU-PF on the opposition political party, that it is an extension of Western imperialism in Zimbabwe. And any surrender of power or any giving of power to an opposition political party who is perceived to be so related to the Western system would actually be tantamount to giving back the country to the white people. I'm not too sure of the extent to which such perspectives have changed, but from the readings here and there, I happen to pick statements that still relates the opposition, currently the CCC, to Western imperialism. So that's an issue. And of late, I've actually seen Chamisa himself attempting to posture CCC as an indigenous political party that is not related to to Western powers. So that's the first thing. So to me, he was actually attempting to give confidence to his supporters that the military won't in any way meddle in the election to the extent of determining who should be the next leader. So that's the general take I have in relation to the statement he issued. Then the next relates to his public blunder to attempt to give confidence to the supporters, which you ordinarily expect from any leader, where he's talking of God is in it, and so forth. It's generally a statement. I saw it, I heard about it in 2018, and it's being repeated again in 2023. I'm not too sure of how much the God is in it statement is going to happen as issued by him. And again, I would not want to argue on the basis of spiritual issues. I think generally as an analyst, I have very little understanding of that world in terms of how it shapes or reshapes the political developments in the country. But from his side, he's trying to impress that God himself is also an interested player in the electoral processes. So that one I may not comment much on. It is safe to say it's I consider it generally as political blunder. Thank you.
Are you an African student studying journalism and communication? Are you a student of photojournalism? Are you someone interested in creative writing? Are you interested in building your community while sharpening your writing skills, interact and rub shoulders with some of the best writers around? If your answer is yes, please contact us outlining and specifying your area of interest and specialization. Jericom Media, the home of Kwedu Classics. Your story, our story. We also have another opinion from Australia-based historian, political writer, and analyst Reason Wafawaroga.
From what I heard on the clip, I think he is just reiterating what I would call a constitutional message in regards to the political position of the uniformed forces or the defense forces or the army when it comes to elections. I think the constitutional message is very clear to all Zimbabweans that the army is apolitical, the army is a national institution that is meant to restore peace and to defend the strategic interests and the national interests of the country, which includes the right of the people to freely choose a leader of their choice. So I hear him saying he has had people worried about our army, and he's trying to assure his audience in that clip that I listened to that the army will respect the will of the people. I think the second part of his speech is directed at his opponents, most likely, and I think more particularly to President Idi Mnangagwa, where he turns really political and you go into the political jargon to say God is in it, nothing will change, it doesn't matter what he does this time as Sukoni. I think that is all directed to the incumbent president. So you hear his clip, and it's in two parts. I think we know that traditionally we have had issues with statements attributed to the army saying they would not salute anyone who did not participate in the liberation struggle. This is why these issues keep coming. But I see him trying to send I think it's very hard for Nelson to go confrontational with the army, particularly with no evidence of any such statement that been issued recently. So he is basically assuring his supporters that they will be supporting what the people want, or whichever way the election goes.
Well, that's it from us today. What is your opinion? Please let us know what you think. And remember to like and follow our page at Kwedu Classics on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and on Twitter. Till we meet again in the next program. Kwedu Classics, your story, our story.